Okay, so let's talk about entering and exiting the highway correctly. So say you're driving on the road test, and as you turn onto the highway on-ramp, you realize, hey, this is the highway. You should be thinking, now that I'm on the merge lane, I need to pick up my speed relatively quickly, right? Because in the city, you were going 50 kilometers an hour. Maybe you came in from a slip lane and you just turned onto this road here. And the first thing you should be thinking about is, okay, I gotta rapidly pick up my pace. Now, once you've reached the speed of the highway traffic up to the posted speed limit, right? So there will be often a posted speed limit here, indicating that whether it's 80 or 90, generally for a highway, it's gonna be 80 kilometers an hour. Once you picked up your speed, you'll signal left to indicate your intention of wanting to merge with the traffic. Now, we will then move on to checking our rear view mirror, our left side mirror here, right? And we're going to try to find a safe gap in the traffic here. So we're gonna signal rear view mirror, side mirror, and a shoulder check to see if anyone's riding just alongside our blind spot. Now, the last thing we need to do is we need to merge over the broken lines, right? Avoiding merging sooner than that, where you're cutting the white solid line here, okay? And once you've merged on to the highway, we're going to cancel our signal and maintain an appropriate speed close to the flow of traffic up to the speed limit. But I will also maintain a safe following distance from the car in front, okay? So sometimes it's congested on the highway, however, they're all moving quickly. So you'll have to merge between the two cars, the one that's in front and the one that's behind. But once you've merged in between the two, gradually try to increase that following distance back to where it needs to be. So the book suggests 3 seconds following distance in the highway. And if you're going 80 kilometers an hour, you're going about 22 meters per second. So you need to be 66 meters back. That's about a really large swimming pool, okay? So keep that in mind. And sometimes you'll have a merge within a merge. So sometimes it's a clover scenario where you're coming in from one side of a road and then people are taking another on-ramp and you guys are coming in, you're merging together, and then you're going to merge onto the actual highway. So this is kind of what I've demonstrated here, is that in this scenario, there's a merge within a merge. So because we know other people are coming up to merge with us onto the highway, we need to match the speed of the traffic that's also coming up to merge. So you might be thinking, well, how am I supposed to know all this? But the signage is there, right? So first you have a sign that says, hey, lane on the right is ending. So if I'm in the right lane, I need to right away, as soon as I see this sign, put my signal on and start checking to see where is it that I can merge into. So I have to check my side mirror, my shoulder check to see where that appropriate gap is. And then this sign is telling you, hey, we need to merge here before our lane runs out. Notice we're not yielding, right? So we're not slowing down to stop. We're merging somewhere into the flow of traffic here, okay? So if the flow of traffic is speeding, so they're going 100 kilometers an hour in an 80 zone, well, we're not permitted to do that. So we'll have to find a safe gap somewhere that allows us to merge at the speed of maximum 80 kilometers an hour, okay? And then once we're in this lane, we have these signs again saying, hey, lane on the right is ending again, and you need to merge. So pay attention to these signs because they're going to tell you what you need to do as you're coming up to merge. Now, on the exit side, when the examiner says, okay, next we'll be taking the next exit, you should be thinking, okay, I need to remember to maintain my speed as I come into the exit lane, because the vehicle behind me wants to continue driving on the highway, and I should not unnecessarily impede their movement, right? So we're coming off the highway, we've put our signal on, rear view mirror, side mirror, shoulder check, and trying to get into this exit lane relatively quickly. So relatively at the beginning of this exit lane. We don't want to delay the signal, delay the mirror check, the shoulder check, and then exit all the way over the solid white line, because that's just too late. So whenever you can, try to exit at the beginning of the exit lane. Now, on the merge side, notice I didn't draw us merging right at the beginning of the merge lane. We're trying to kind of gradually make this maneuver. Sometimes because of the way the traffic is on the highway, you might find that, well, it only makes sense to be merging over here, right? And that's fine, then you can merge here. But generally speaking, this, whether you're merging on the highway or merging off the highway, it should be a nice gradual shift over. So no sudden steering. It needs to be subtle. Now, something that confuses students from time to time when they're exiting the highway is they'll see a yellow background speed sign that says 50 kilometers an hour or 40 kilometers an hour, whatever it is. Just a reminder that this is a recommendation. So if you look into that exit lane and it's a really long exit lane, okay, you can take a bit longer to slow down. So they're not saying you need to be right at 50 by this sign. It's not a white speed sign, it's a yellow speed sign. So be gradual, be predictable to the cars behind you that may be exiting with you. Sometimes you'll find that as you go into this exit lane, there's a sharp bend right at the end, and so it might require you to slow down a bit sooner. However, make sure that you're not slowing down again on the highway. The only time you may be forced to slow down on the highway is if the car in front of you is exiting and they're kind of slowly exiting, and so then you have to make sure that you're not tailgating them, you're following them at a safe following distance. But if no one's exiting with you and you're the first person to be going into this exit lane, try to exit at a reasonable pace to not impede the movement of the traffic behind you. So I would say for a class 5 road test, this is one of the main things that examiners checking for is, am I coming, or are you coming into the highway at a reasonable speed, and have you checked safely? And are you exiting and checking safely at a reasonable speed when you're exiting the highway, right? So be mindful of that. If conditions allow, try to exit or try to enter and exit at the posted speed limit that's posted for the highway. Okay, so if it's an 80 zone on the highway here, enter at 80 when conditions allow, and when it's an 80 speed limit on the highway, try to exit at 80 when conditions allow. Okay, so sometimes I have students that are entering at 65 or 60 or even 70, and these are slow, right? So if there's no need to be merging slow, you shouldn't be merging slow. And you got to think that examiner has maybe 1, possibly 2 chances to test this out. So if on your 1 chance or on your 2 chances they see that you're merging slow, then they're thinking to themselves, okay, on average, maybe this person just merges slow, and if they're merging slow or exiting slow, it's unsafe for them to be on the road by themselves. So they're more hesitant to give you the license. Now, of course, if on the day of your test you're coming in to merge on the highway, it's congested, you end up having to merge at 55 or 60, that's a different story, right? The examiner understands that the situation called for a slower speed. But if it's nice and clear and you're coming in nice and slow, well, it's not nice anymore. So just keep that in the back of your mind.